Wherever you look in the offices of Kono, there's no doubt this is a Māori business run on Māori values.
Categorically, Kono is a Māori business, and it really underpins everything that we do. It's our anchor, it's our story, it's our worldview, if you will.
And when describing Kono, Chief Executive Rachel Taulelei is in no doubt of what comes first.
So Kono we're a Māori company, we're a food and beverage company, and we're a family-owned company.
Kono means food basket, into which the finest foods would be collected for special guests. And that's what the company effectively is, a collection of, or avenue for, several primary industry activities. Although established in 2012, Kono was formed by the Wakatu Incorporation to bring together its many food and beverage activities.
So we are active in horticulture. We grow apples and pears and kiwi fruit and hops. We have a beverage business, the large part of which is in wine, so Tohu Wines and Aronui Wines are two of our brands there, but we also have a cider. We have a seafood business, so we grow green shell mussels and we fish for crayfish, and we have a fruit bar manufacturing business, which is the brand most commonly known as Annie's.
Ms Taulelei says being a Māori business underpins everything it does.
Māori businesses have, and Māori in general, we have values in our mainframe, and there's very little latitude for deviation of those. And I think that's a real positive when you're in business, because once your values and your principles are clear, quite honestly, the rest is quite straightforward.
Its purpose is to preserve and enhance its taonga, its treasures, for the benefit of current and future generations through the sustainable use and development of its land and resources. The guiding objective is to have freedom to innovate, providing it meets those values, and tikanga, the way of doing things. Backing up those values, which are more than just a plaque on the office wall, is a 500-year plan, Te Pai Tawhiti, penned when Kono was set up.
And so sometimes within Māori business, you'll hear people talking about moko-driven decisions, and that's about making decisions for your grandchildren's grandchildren. So rarely ever do people think about themselves and in the short term and what this will do for their benefit. Certainly not in isolation. You know, we try to make decisions that are about our future.
Kono exports 70% of its $80 million annual revenue to around 25 countries. And its values-based story resonates with its customers and consumers globally, Ms Taulelei says. Consumers want to buy into something that not only meets their needs, but also has story, history, and authenticity.
They want to know that the people that they're engaging with are going to be there for the long term. And they also want to know that when they make a purchasing decision that's good for them, it doesn't have an adverse effect on anyone else in the world.
The trick, she says, becomes how you take that story and bring your consumers and trade partners along for the ride.
But increasingly, you know, increasingly people do know where New Zealand is. Telling the Māori story behind that is fun, because you get to be that really unique component of what it is to be from New Zealand.
Based at Te Tauihu, the top of the South Island, in the Nelson, Tasman and Marlborough regions, Kono aspires to be the world's best Indigenous food and beverage provider. Having a diverse portfolio is useful to ride out the overs and unders you get in the primary industry, but seafood remains the engine of the business. Rachel says aquaculture, however, is a tough game to be in.
Seafood is in there, but you know, that's because we know it and we love it, and we've always been ocean-faring people. Will it be the heart forever? Who knows? We're always open to opportunities.
One of the biggest challenges for the New Zealand seafood industry is how to build credibility, trust, and a relationship with consumers who have a view on the diminishing state of fisheries. To survive as an industry, a number of things need to come together, including a story being told that brings together the science, fishermen's knowledge, and Mātauranga Māori, the body of knowledge originating from Māori ancestors. Kono bought the chief executive's sustainable seafood distribution company Yellow Brick Road when she was appointed in 2015.
I think it was a 2-for-1.
3 years ago, it also bought out its partners in Pure NZ Green Shell Mussels Trading Company, which had been set up in Shanghai in 2011. While the Chinese company was originally set up to trade green shell mussels and lobster, the purchase allowed Kono to trade other products in the company, including wine. Because it has the appropriate trading authority, Kono can write orders which make the difference to making a sale or not.
I think a real asset to the company, and also very visionary from the people who were here before I took on this role, because that's a market that's a slow burn, but you categorically have to be in there.
Kono's wine business brings in good profits and is also an important part of its connection to consumers and the ability to tell its story. The wine business was started 20 years ago by 3 Māori entities before being taken over by Wakatu.
When we did start, I think it was a very new concept domestically for a Māori company to be in the wine game. But as time has gone on, that's really become our secret sauce of sorts.
Like a lot of Marlborough-based export-focused wine companies, it primarily produces Sauvignon Blanc. And another potential for big growth, the Annie's Fruit Bar manufacturing business, which it bought out of receivership in 2014.
Annie's was a great avenue to use a lot of our waste stream out of our apple and pear orchards through into the Annie's business. So that was part of the original genesis. Another part is that natural snacking, and that's the category that Annie's fills, is a huge momentum behind it. It's a big market now, and it will be an even bigger market in years to come.
That's why the aim is to get its systems and processes in tip-top order before an expected step change in growth in the next 1 to 3 years. It also means getting balanced growth across the portfolio, as one area can't grow at the expense of another.
The diversity of our business means that if we're going to push forward in any one space, we have to look for an equal and opposite push in another part of the business. So that means rapid change, quick growth, but in a managed way.